Now, some in the air travel industry, like flight attendants, think it may be too soon to lift the mask mandate for air travel and public transportation, especially since kids 4 and under can't yet get vaccinated. One thing that they are keeping an eye on is the storm surge. We are covering this storm as responsibly and as safely as we can. And the store, as you mentioned, it was packed at the time of this shooting, but he wasn't able to tell us just how many were inside at the time. Law enforcement saying just stay away from the search for right now. But one thing we have found, this coffee shop telling people how they can take part. Thursday marks 4 weeks since Russia's war in Ukraine started. Thank you so much for joining us on Spectrum News 1. I'm Jonathan Lowe. What a difference a day makes.
Absolutely.
It was a soggy morning to start off St. Patrick's Day. Parts of our state even seeing some flood warnings in the last few hours. In our state, health officials say more than 2.6 million people have tested positive for COVID since the pandemic began.
Well, Claudine and Mike, that enclosure is heavy. It weighs about 100 pounds, and it actually took several people to carry it over here to the transit center earlier today to show to us.
Let me show you what I'm talking about here. If I stick my hand down, I mean, just look at that. All right, so there is still some wind here in the area.
Here, a section of the trail that's under construction near Archdale Park in South Charlotte. That's in addition to work that's being done on a section between 7th and 10th Streets. And City Council just gave approval for work to start on a 3rd section.
Thank you so much for joining us right here on Spectrum News 1. Glad you could be with us. Really hope you're enjoying your weekend. Let's get you straight to the stories making an impact in your community. Body camera video was not publicly released. Attorneys for Andrew Brown's family called the judge's decision a partial victory. The judge granting Brown's eldest son and the family attorney the chance to watch the 4 body cam and 1 dash cam video of the shooting within the next 10 days.
But then everybody know what happened, why it happened. They like to know why it happened.
But Brown's 92-year-old grandmother, Lydia, didn't feel that way after Wednesday's hearing. What do you think about what the judge had to say to you and his reasoning for not releasing it?
I didn't get no understanding.
It was clear family members were not only confused, but also emotionally exhausted. And how are you feeling right now? Miss Lydia, along with the rest of the nation, will have to wait at least 30 days before potentially being able to see what happened when Pasquotank deputies showed up at Andrew Brown's home to serve drug and search warrants.
I hope something still good come out of it.
Faith leaders here say, in fact, they're already seeing a silver lining.
No racist! No racist! No justice!
Keith Rivers, the president of the Pasquotank County NAACP, pointing to marches and protests like this one Wednesday.
Look at this community. Look at what this community over 7 days has done that no other community has done, is the peaceful protest. There are no buildings burning.
We don't want no trouble. We just want it to be peaceful.
And to see justice and transparency, something Andrew Brown's eldest relative says she doesn't have much faith in, even with all the life she has lived.
I don't see no whole lot of changes.
At 92 years old, you do not see changes. And you say that because?
I don't know, because we should all be on one accord.
It's been 2 months since I was last there, talking to residents moments after they survived an EF3 tornado.
Ward Road was named after my mother's family.
County Commission Chairman Ron Wesson is either related to or is a close friend of someone impacted by the Hurricane Isaias-spawned EF3 tornado that struck the Cedar Lane community in the middle of the night back on August 4th. People living here have a long road ahead of them.
This time next year, there'll still be stuff to do. But we're making progress. It's slow.
In addition to 28 destroyed homes, the twister caused some sort of damage to 200 more.
This was a, high concentration of homes or something in here. I mean, these people would have made it.
More than the loss of property, there was a loss of life. 2 people were killed.
On top of the hurricane.
By far the hardest hit zone, what used to be a mobile home park.
Through the park This was the debris field over here. Now where you see cotton growing, this was all debris field. You can see a little bit still left in the trees. That metal stuck up in the trees that was right around.
But as Ron showed me around, there are subtle signs of the progress that's already taken place. A neighboring county donated 18 RV units so far to Bertie County for displaced residents. The area was declared a federal disaster area, making it eligible for relief funding. And local Good Samaritans have so far contributed $179,000 to a relief fund.
So we're trying to take care of immediate needs here, getting them into some other form of housing, making sure that they have food, making sure that their personal needs.
It's no secret by now that Andrew Brown had a checkered past. But we've also learned this week he was making some attempts to be a better person. And that's what those in this community who loved him most say should not be ignored. Using just a photo of Andrew Brown
For everything, for people to see art.
and his talent for freehanding art,
I want to make sure I get the dimensions of his eyes and his nose and his mouth correct.
Ulysses Edwards, who goes by Jimmy Bones, first sketched the outline of Brown's face.
My mom, she taught me how to draw. She was an art teacher out here in the city.
Edwards now using his talent to pay homage to Brown, someone he knew since childhood. His canvas, a corner section of brick. It's the only spot free from mud splattered on the wall when witnesses say Brown tried speeding away from deputies' gunfire.
Send a message out that, the community supports him, his family, and the movement of justice for him.
Anyone passing by the corner house won't be able to miss it.
I hope that it's a reminder of, what happened in the senseless killing of unarmed black men in America right now.
Edwards was asked to create this mural by the man who owns the house. Andre Simpson was not only Andrew Brown's landlord, but years ago,
tried out for one of my basketball teams that I was involved with at the Elizabeth City Boys Club.
And in the last few months, Simpson says Brown seemed to be trying to clean up his act so he could get custody of his kids.
He came back about 6 months later in tears. I said, "What's going on?" He said, "Man, social services have my kids. 2 of them are in this county. The other 2 is in another county." I said, "What can I do to help?" He said, "I need a place to stay."
Despite his past, Simpson and Jimmy Bones say that's the Andrew Brown they want remembered.
You just try to look at tones and undertones so you can create the texture and the color of the skin.
A now permanent example of both the textures and layers of Andrew Brown's life, as well as the circumstances surrounding his death.
Yeah, until somebody takes over it, it'll be here.
I want the world to see, 1, what Andrew meant to this community, and 2, this young man who's doing an outstanding job. And I plan to leave it up here.
Andre Simpson, the homeowner, says he's also gotten some offers to have that mud power washed off the side of the home, but he says he wants that to stay there as a reminder of what happened here more than a week ago. In Elizabeth City, Jonathan Lowe, Spectrum News 1.
Live at 5 tonight, 1 month ago today, neighbors in Hickory woke up to learn the 40-ton wooden arches that had just been installed over the Main Avenue Bridge had fallen down overnight. You're looking at video of when that happened. Shockingly, no one was hurt in that incident. Good evening to you. Thank you so much for joining us here on Spectrum News 1. I'm Jonathan Lowe.
And I'm Claudine Chalfant. Mike and Brittany are off tonight. The community came out in droves to see that devastation, as you would imagine, and of course ask, how did it even happen? Spectrum News 1 reporter Vanessa Leon brings us up to date 1 month after the collapse. City buses.
Yeah, it's a story we brought you on Monday. The city councilman Tarek Bakari, who is running for re-election along with a group of Republican city council candidates, unveiled this enclosure they commissioned from a local manufacturer. Bakari says all 323 CATS buses could be outfitted with them for just under $1 million. However, CATS said in a statement Monday it was not aware of the prototype or any viable options currently on the market. Well, since his unveiling, Bakari says Katz is now expressing interest in the prototype.
And I think the press release that the city just sent out later at the end of this week is a good indication that the tone and tenor is changing. It doesn't mean that we're there and this is done. There's still a lot of work to be done, but it means that we're that much closer to getting something done around public safety for these drivers.
Now, a Katz spokesperson sent Spectrum News 1 a statement about the bulletproof enclosure saying, quote, Katz will meet with the design company that created the bullet-resistant prototype to learn more about it. In an effort to address safety concerns and a rise in violence in schools, Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools continuing to hold sessions for families and community members to voice their concerns. The next one is Monday night at South Mecklenburg High School from 6 to 8. Topics include social media safety and gun violence. Now, another session will be held at West Charlotte High School next Tuesday night, also from 6 to 8. Claudine, the city of Charlotte renaming several intersections with ties to the Confederacy. City officials voted to change 4 sections of East and West Hill Street. West Hill between South Cedar Street and Eldridge Street is now Stadium View Drive. East and West Hill between South Church Street and South College Street is now named Good Samaritan Way in honor of Good Samaritan Hospital. It was the first private hospital in our state to provide services to Charlotte's African American community. The buildings were demolished in 1996 to make room for Bank of America Stadium. Well, it's a segment that makes all of us hungry here at Spectrum News 1 every week. Eating NC.
Spicy.
Spicy's good. James Beard Award semifinalist and owner of a restaurant that focuses on a popular North Carolina food, the sweet potato. Well, next we go inside her kitchen to see how she got her start. Stay with us. Spectrum News 1 is live at 5.
That's spicy too.